Okay, so trade recap for 25th of August, yesterday's trading 2026. So these are the screenshots I took while I was looking at the charts. First off, on NQ, I'll be looking to be bearish today. So based on what NQ was doing, I was looking to be bearish simply because price had closed below price on Monday, which is this candle, had closed below Friday's trading and Thursday's trading and this low. So we get a close below all those lows, and then we don't necessarily respect this bullish order block that we've seen be respected one and twice. So we're starting to close into the order block. So to me, that was good enough for bearish price action. But on the weekly, it also respects a weekly midway Beverly gap, which is the dashed line. So this dashed line right here is the midway of a Beverly gap on the weekly. So I noted that as possible reason for bullish price action. So price respects it on Monday, and Tuesday we open trade lower, and for that, to me, that is very indicative of a reversal using a PDRA. Then on ES, price does not close below Friday, but closes within the range. So it will be consolidating on the lower time frame. So this is ES right here, but this is the weekly time frame. While I was annotating all of this, I was obviously looking at the daily. I switched to the weekly here, and then I'll be looking to be bullish today, but may switch my bias based on what price action is doing. So here is the 1 hour time frame. On the 1 hour, I annotated that we just had straight up price action from the open, which is not good for a bullish day, or it's not best for a bullish day. If we had the usual open, trade lower, then move to the upside, that's good for a bullish power of 3, but we did not have that. I noted that on the 1 hour, price had made these relatively equal highs, although this one does poke above a bit, but still relatively equal highs just before 9:30. So all of this consolidation that's going on here is all going on before 9:30, and we'll see that in a bit. So large move to the downside from 8:30 is ideal for an intraday power of 3. So either the power of 3 comes from the regular daily time frame, or you see it during the 8:30. So this large candle here, this one is the 8:30, but like this one, I'm not exactly sure. Obviously, I was looking at it while the trade was going on. So it's 8:30 for an intraday power of 3. Also 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. consolidation. So a trending AM is possible. So from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. price was in the consolidation. So I'm not exactly sure where it wants to trade to. So it's very possible for us to have a trending AM session. Then equal highs here on NQ also formed just before 9:30. So it would be ideal sweep. It would be an ideal sweep if to trade bearish for the day. So if price was able to open at 9:30 and take out these highs immediately, right, even before this particular low, take out these highs and then trade lower, that would be great for bearishness. Like I said, I'm willing to switch my bias based on price action. So a move higher, that would have been perfect. But a move lower first to this particular swing low with these equal lows also here. But this particular swing low would have been ideal for a target for these highs. Also, we still have these relative equal highs on the S&P. Then SMT here with US 30 or Dow Jones forming a higher high, and ES slash NQ forming lower highs. So lower high, lower high, higher high, lower high. So that SMT was being formed. So a lot of things. So you can see that price is really, or my initial bias is really on both sides. So like I noted here, rather here 9:30. So 9:30 is important for the possible direction of the day. So I was really going to look towards 9:30 to 9:45 to determine what exactly I was going to, or where I was going to be participating. So you notice here that this liquidity level is this level here. And very interesting to me was the fact that price just before 9:30. Right, so this is 9:30 open right here, this candle. So just before 9:30, price did 1, 2, 3. I was looking at this and I just thought that there's no way, this is obviously it's not random. So there's no way that this move just comes in just before 9:30. If it did that in 9:30, if you continue all this consolidation and then 9:30 took out that low, that's reasonable, that's expected. But just before 9:30, he did all of this, and I said, and I was willing to go to take a trade off of this manipulation right here, and then we get a break to the upside, or market structure shift to the upside, this high, this high, this high, this high, and then I went long here. This trade is based on a 2-minute time frame, but TradingView does not show me a 2-minute time frame, so I had to use another platform to get exactly what the 2-minute was doing. So my take profits, this is where my stop loss was, obviously at the low. My take profit was actually based on these highs right here, but price does not trade there. As we'll see, this was a break-even trade. So I was long here, looking to take partials at this particular high. Or actually rather good break even, which is what I did. So break even at this particular high. Let's just see what happens next. Fair value gap formed here. Then bullishness of this fair value gap and not the one below. So you notice that price does this with this particular candle. The wick break above this from this fair value gap. This candle opens lower, trades higher, closes bullish. So bullishness was seen off of this fair value gap and not this one. So I ended up, price does trade here, which I ended up going break even on, and then it reversed from here. So it didn't even take out this, the higher high. It just took out this high, I believe, and then trade lower. So we will look at that as what I'm talking about when I go to TradingView. But that aside, I did end up taking another trade, which is the more reasonable trade. Not more reasonable, but the other trade that also made sense. Like I said, my bias was really conflicted with price for the day. So what I noticed here that was nice about this trade was that this is 9:30 and 9:45 takes out a swing high, which is this high, from an SMT, and we're closing bearish. So this trade made sense because shorts are possible here from 9:30 to 9:45, but this trade makes sense because of the regular thing that I trade. If 9:30 does not make a sweep on its own, as you can see, 9:30 does not really have any definite sweep, but 9:45 does have a definite sweep. So 9:30 to 9:45, if 9:30 does not make a sweep, 9:45 makes a sweep. That is good. So this was the initial trade, which was on NQ, by the way. The reason why I traded ES this time was because it is the leading the SMT. NQ is the lagging. So this was the initial trade, and then I ended up going shorts here with this fair value gap in mind. this one right here. We get a shift here, another shift here, but this shift comes with the fair value gap. So I went short here in this candle. I think I went short right around here, to be honest, right here, and then put my stop here. So in here with the annotated fair value gap in mind, this will be mind, MIND. So looking for a move to the open of the day. So I was looking for price to just trade to the opening of the day. So we get a move to this particular level, no, somewhere here anyway, and then I trailed my stop here. This should have been annotated as second stage of selling. I think I did. Okay, I did. But anyway, this is where I trailed my stop to initially. Then I was break even at these equal lows on the 1 minute on ES. So break even here and then final take profits there. The second stage selling. So this was the first stage of selling. You'll notice that there really is no other fair value gap. All of this rubbish, all of this consolidation. Then we get another break to the downside. Second stage selling. And I have no idea what happened. I was just looking at this and TP was just hit in like the 1 minute or something like that. Well, I think that is just the end of the screenshots. Let me move over to trading view. Actually, I did mention I wanted to say something for this particular area here. Okay, so this is trading view now. Let's just move this down. Move this down. Like I said, price did not even reach all the way to the second high, which is this one here. Just stopped at this one, barely reached this one, edged it, and just collapsed. So this was that initial break-even trade. Let me just read this. This was that initial break-even trade from here all the way partial or break-even, stopped out on this candle here. Then we have this other trade. Okay. Then we had the trade that ended up being a win. From this fair value gap here, where my stop was here, ended up trading to, this is where I entered, you see the arrow here or something like that. And then second stage of selling, very nice delivery with this second stage here, from the volume imbalance all the way to the high of this fair value gap, or the high of the low of this candle rather. Selling again, and then this particular insane wick to the downside, to the 15 minutes. So yeah, for the rest of the day, we've seen our price has just been able to traded off this crazy wick. I think some news came out. I think it was Trump or something. But we get this move off of news, then we consolidate for the rest of the day until the PM session. Then trades bearish with Asia also trading bearish. So that was the trade for the day. One break even and one win. So let's see what tomorrow has to offer. Rather, what today has. That was the trade for yesterday. see what today has to offer. Thanks for watching.